She went blind in one eye because a hospital failed to tell her that she had a brain tumor on the side of her brain. And now the defense attorney was saying, hey, it's not that bad. You can still see out of one eye. You want to know what this is about? Come join me for a moment as I share with you some great information. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney practicing law here in the state of New York. So now she suffered blindness as a result of a brain tumor that compressed the optic nerve. And the problem was the hospital never told her that she had a brain tumor, even though they had x-rays and diagnostic imaging that clearly confirmed that fact. So now, as we're getting closer to trial, the defense attorney had a great argument. They told me during the course of negotiations, listen, what's the big deal? She still has one good eye that she can see out of. I turned to him, I said, are you kidding me? Is that really the argument you're going to make to the jury? That because she has one good eye, you shouldn't compensate her because your client made her go blind? I was outraged. I was furious. This was a ridiculous argument to make. And now he was trying to use this argument to try and get us to lower our demand, our settlement demand. And I turned to him, I say, you go right ahead and make that argument to the jury and see how far that gets you. I said, I'll be more than happy to take this case to a verdict with you making that defense argument. And then he backpedaled and he said, okay, I realize that that's not the best argument. Not the best argument? It's an outrageous argument. So you're claiming that even though your client made my client blind, you're now going to say, hey, don't worry, it's not that bad. She can still do all these activities because she still has good vision in one eye. Well, guess what? What happens if something happens to that one eye? What happens if she develops diabetes? What happens if she gets glaucoma? What if she gets a cataract? What if another injury occurs and now she's totally blind? Then what? Then are you going to come back and say, okay, we'll give you more money? No, you're not. So why do I share this quick story with you? I share it with you because it just shows you an insight, a behind-the-scenes look at what goes on in these medical malpractice cases when the defense turns around and says, yes, I recognize my client did something wrong, but hey, your client really isn't that bad off. You know, I realize you're watching this video because you likely have questions or concerns about your own particular matter. Well, if your matter did happen here in New York and you're thinking about bringing a lawsuit, but you have questions that need answers first, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. I can answer your legal questions. You know, this is something I do every single day and I'd love to talk to you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, G-E-R-R-Y, at oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a great day.